Hello, good evening and welcome to the Virtual Racers Club. We're at a final. A final round is always exciting. I mean, it does look like it's Racer Browns with a 10-point lead after drop scores. We'll get to the tables. Running a bit late, so going to whoosh through everything. This is the HPEC Season 3, the Hybrid Performance Endurance Championship, an hour and a half a race across 10 rounds using the hybrid Group 1 cars. They're only allowed to use the soft tyres for one stint in the race. We are minutes away, or we are virtually on top of qualifying. I think he's already asked the question, has he not? Yes, I think. Ready when the other two are. Okay, I'll give it an R. We're ready, aren't we? I think so. We're a bit rushed, we haven't read anything. So I'll get to the tables as they do their outlap. We're at round 10, and that is what these cars were built for. Le South. So, as I get my way down to the HPEC channel and press my buttons, I'll give you a Le South, 8.467 miles. There's 38 turns, and the race length is going to be 90 minutes, like I already said. The time of day in-game. Oh, it's not qualifying, sorry. We're straight into the race. They don't qualify. It's the championship order. I should have already told you the championship. That's kind of the championship in reverse. There you go. We'll get through to it. It's straight into the race. I totally forgot about that. I was there thinking I was going to have 10 minutes to blag, but I haven't. We're straight away. So Rivixter on pole from Jim. Pat is in third place. We'll get to the table. There's 2 to read, so it's going to take a while. We'll get the race out of the way. The race start out of the way. An hour and a half here at the South, and there goes Rivixter, flooring it, and flooring it again to pull away from Jim. Both of them in the VVT sponsors. Audi versus Toyota. The Toyota in the leads. The Audi getting very close indeed in the first couple of corners. There you can see Pat in his Toyota. Then we've got Daz in the Porsche against Skyjacker. Skyjacker in a Toyota. He's coming through at the inside. It looks like Skyjacker's grabbed that place for 4th place, but Daz is still there, keeping it real. Oh, Daz late on the brakes, but Skyjacker, and then Matt Psycho's come across him quite quickly. There goes Matt Psycho. He's out wide though, trying to avoid these guys. And he's past Mr. Skyjacker, but Daz is still in the lead of that little group. Rivixter is still ahead of Jim. Jim trying to get a toe down here in his Audi. Looks like he's going to go and make the move for the lead. He's just ahead now as they're going up to the first chicane. But Rivixter might have that inside line just about. They're both trying to tussle over the corner, but it looks like Jim wins the higher ground. And now Jim is in the lead of this race, but Rivixter hot on his toe. Let's get him board. So this is the sight from Rivixter. Car 84 in the toe. He started on the medium tyres. We'll have a look through. I should have come on earlier. Do you want to know? You don't want to know. You don't want to know the day I've had. Trust me. It's enough to make your blood boil. Oh, and Rivixter went off a bit wide of the track, came back on right across the front of Jim. Jim, though, cutting through, Pat still in that 3rd place. Then you've got Matt Psycho ahead of Skyjacker. He made that move off screen, but Skyjacker's in the toe now. Let us have a look. There we go, right up is Jaxie. On the medium tyres also is Skyjacker, and he's grabbed that 4th from Mr. Psycho as they go through that Mulsanne corner, Mulsanne turn, or whatever. So Rivixter is leading from Jim. Haven't even had time to tell you the tables, I'm so sorry. And Pat there in 3rd. Skyjacker again ahead of Matt Psycho. Binko is in 6th. We haven't even mentioned these guys. Binko 6th. Racer Brown in 7th, the championship leader at the moment. And Daz down in 8th position. So Skyjack saying hi thingy, hope all is good. Flashman saying evening all. Pat saying qualifying. I know. Alright, I'll tell you the day. Jim's braking. Rivixter's having a look at the inside, but it looks like Jim has held on to that position. First place, and Rivixter's lost a bit of time to Jim as he bunnies out of the corner, rabbits out the corner, and Pat is right on their heels here. Pat in a great position in 3rd place. He's got Skyjacker 8 tenths behind him. as Rivixter and the Audi of Jim alongside each other again up in front. What has happened? Jim's still ahead. Rivixter in second, Pat ever closer though. Pat's looking ready to make a move. Skyjacker skimming the barrier there in fourth ahead of Matt Psycho, who's pushing him. Matt Psycho on the mediums. Shall we cut through? Shall we? Have a look. So Jim started on the mediums. Rivixter also on the mediums. Pat under pressure from Skyjacker, but we see Pat at his best when he's got someone up his jacksy. But Skyjacker's gone for that move up the inside before the chicanes, and he's done it. Cracking move there from Skyjacker as he makes his way up into third place. Pat now at the mercy of Matt, but Matt looks like he was on the accelerator a little bit too early, and he's got Binko closing in. Binko is on his tail, so what a battle. I'll get to the tables because I mean, these guys, you sound a bit flustered. Well, okay. I have a 13-year-old boy, son, and he was given some homework for the last 6 weeks that was meant to be in on Friday, and this is when he told us this today. So my day has been doing homework from start to finish. I haven't done anything else today except for helped my 13-year-old with his homework. So yes, the day has been ruined. Don't have kids, guys. So Binko, oh, Racer Brown, whilst we were sat on board with Binko, Racer Brown cuts up in front and he's up into 6th place. Binko down into 7th. Is it the hybrid? Who knows? The Porsche's got plenty of hybrid there, plenty of squirts, and now has the Toyota. But that for Racer Brown must have been in the toe, and Binko dropped back a little bit. Further back though, we've got Daz. He's on his best lap, but struggling at the back there, and Jim still leading with... Oh, Skyjacker's got himself ahead of the Rivs. We're on the second lap here at Le Tharf. So, the tables. Before drop scores. Sorry. Racer Brown's leading by 156 points. Binko is in second by 150 points. Matt Psycho is third by 146 points. Skyjacker is fourth on 120 points. Daz is fifth on 94 points. Pat is... sixth, sorry, on 78 points. 7th is Jim on 78 points. Rivixter is 8th on 66 points. And then the rest of the guys aren't racing, so I won't bother reading them out. You can find them on our website, www.virtualracersclub.co.uk. There goes Jim, still lead. Oh no, that's Skyjack, sorry. Oh my word, we lost Jimbo. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen. Poor Jimbo. So we lost Jim somewhere, and I don't know. Oh yeah, you probably saw it. I didn't catch it, so here he goes. Oh, just a little bit early on that accelerator. It catches us all at some time, and that is how Skyjacker got the lead of this race. But he's got Rivixter very close behind with Matt Psycho in third. I was going to tell you the points because they dropped 2 rounds of the 10, their 2 lowest scores, and I believe this is... After 9 rounds, their 2 lowest scores dropped. Racer Brown is leading the championship by 142 points. Matt Psycho is in second on 132 points. Binko is third on 126 points. Skyjacker fourth on 97 points. Daz is fifth on 86 points. Pat is sixth on 78 points. Jim is seventh on 78 points. So we have to keep an eye on Pat and Jim. Whoever finishes ahead of those two gets the place in the table. Rivixter is in 8th on 66 points, and there's no one else participating, so I won't bother reading them out. There you go, you're all caught up. Let's have a look at this race. So Skyjacker is leading. He hasn't had a win this season. He has had a podium, and this is looking very tidy for him at the moment. 1.5 second lead on Rivixter, who's managing to fend off the reigning champion, and Matt Psycho, the outgoing champion, because it does look strongly like Racer Brown is going to take this championship with a 10-point lead. There is Racer Brown in 4th place, 2.5 seconds behind Matt Psycho. And Binko is in 5th, ahead of Pat, who is essentially, for him, ahead of Jim. That's all he needs. He's 6 seconds ahead of Jim. And that should be his aim in this race. And it looks like Binko pulling over. What is happening for Binko out there? So Binko pulling over and letting Pat go through. Maybe something occurred between the two of them off screen. And Binko redressing possibly. But Skyjacker 1.3 seconds ahead of the Rivs. And that Matt Psycho, is he the only Porsche? It's 2 Toyotas and a Porsche. With Racer Brown in the old Toyota behind them. He can't quite get on their pace though. And not too far in distance is in 5th place Pat, with Binko in 6th, 7th Jim, who's not too far behind them also, and Daz 4.2 seconds is nothing, with still an hour and 22 minutes of racing to go. Flashman said, what have you learned for this? Nothing, it was art, so it was boring. I shaded a picture of a crab in, and I painted loads of strips of different colours, cut them up, and then made a collage of a fish. And then we had to make some sort of fish out of one-use plastic, or make some sort of aquarium. Honestly, when they finished at preschool, you think them days are behind you, sticking with Pritt sticks and PVC glue and such what. 13 and he's doing that stuff. Well, he's not doing that stuff. What he's doing is avoiding doing that stuff. And the problem is, I can't admit to him that I can understand why, because it's a load of bollocks. But I have to lie and be hypocritical and say you should be doing that. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that on it. So Skyjacker leading 2.5 seconds from the Rivixter. Come on, Rivs. This is a race and a half that the Rivs is putting out there now. I believe he did say he liked this track. And the combo of him and his Toyota are working well here. But Matt Psycho, like I said, he's a champion. And he's no slouch. He's catching up with that Rivs. Let's get on board around Le Soif. On board with the reigning and outgoing champion of Season 2. In 3rd place, 2/10 behind the Rivs in the BWT Toyota. And he's just that toe, beautiful, just pulls right up, but backs out, doesn't know how heavy Rivs is going to break through there, if breaks at all. Beautiful, look at that, full on with the accelerator. Big balls has Mr. Psycho got, definitely, look at him, sticking it in there. He's getting disrupted airflow from Rivixter, so he's not getting the downforce that he would like through that corner. And he stayed right up with the Toyota, well, until the burst out of the corner. It seems like the Toyota, slight advantage over the Porsche there, coming out of the corner. It must puts his hybrid to the rear wheels, or the wheels, quicker than what the Porsche is, although he hasn't pulled away out of this corner. And Matt Psycho getting a good run up the hill. Can he find a place up at the inside of this for braking? It's a tight corner to try and make a move. He's having a look, but no, it's just not there. The downforce goes away from you up the hill and behind your competitor. The downforce just disappears, and that gives Racer Brown even more of a good view of the back of Mr. Psycho. And Matt Psycho would just like to finish. Oh no, Rivixter, the Rivs. Where is he? Fifth. Oh my lord, he dropped it at the top of the hill. It looks like he's coming down. Everything absolutely superb for him at the moment. Goes into the corner a little bit wide and he meets the sand, and that is good night, Nora. My word, poor Rivs, he was having a blinder. An absolute blinder. So still, we have forgotten, Skyjacker is leading this race now by 3.1 seconds. If he ever had a chance to win, this is it. The man is having a great run of form at the moment, leading the HPEC final round at Le Soif, and also, I believe, leading the WRX Challenge Championship. Is he? Or that might be Catula, sorry. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but he's doing really well in the WRX Challenge. Might be second now, but he's up there with a chance. With only, what, 2 more races to go? It's tight stuff. The WRXs join us on Thursday for some Subaru crazy fun. At the moment, though, Skyjacker leading this race with the fastest lap under his belt, with Matt Psycho in chase. In second place, and behind Matt Psycho he's got Racer Brown closing in, only half a second behind, and it could be anyone's at this point. Binko a further 5 seconds down in his Porsche as they tackle Mulsanne going around until they hit Indianapolis. Jim under pressure. Oh, Jim's ahead of Pat. Pat, he had one job to do, Pat. Keep Jim behind you, but that Audi seems just way too powerful in a straight line for these Porsches to have a fight. And Jim has got it all to do. He's got Binko in his sights though, less than 2 seconds ahead. Pat keeping with him though, 2/10. 2/10 up his spout. Going round a tight corner, Pat screaming his medium tyres. We've got to say though, and Pat is one of the best on his tyres. To say he's on a controller, he done to have look after, and good set of tyres on the Patster. Pat now currently in 6th place, sitting behind his closest rival in the table. They're both joint on points. This is the showdown between Jim and Pat knows he cannot be staring at the back of that Audi come the end of this race. 1 hour and 16 minutes to go of the hour and 30 allotted in this endurance race for these Group 1 hybrid prototypes. What a race we are having. Also sat on board with 6 places, he's chasing down his nemesis, and we'll nip out and have a look around. So Skyjacker's 3.5 seconds, he's pulled a bit out on Mr. Psycho. Those Toyotas are formidable today with Skyjacker at the wheel. Matt Psycho in 2nd place, he's only 1.8 seconds ahead of Racer Brown, but he's pulled a little bit out because we saw Racer Brown was closer to him. Racer Brown just did a 326.169, whilst Matt Psycho pulled a 26. He's only a 10th. There's nothing in between those two. Binko up into 4th. He was always in 4th. What am I talking about? I thought he was down in 5th. He's in 4th. Pat and Jim still at it. On track, Daz has got himself ahead of the Rivs. The Rivs, it's gone from bad to worse than worse, because now he's behind Daz. He was ahead of those guys. He was only down into 5th place. So Rivixter slipping down the order. Get it together, man. Come on, you can do this. You pulled in some great laps in the beginning there. He's getting purples now though, pulling his head on. The Rivs coming to life on lap 5. Skyjacker meanwhile keeping that 3-second distance and maintaining the fastest lap, which he just got on lap 4, and he's getting purples again. Man alive, 15 minutes into this race, Skyjacker wants to call it. And Mama Sykes in the chat saying hello all and hello thingy. Hi Mama Sykes, your boy gonna do it today? Is he gonna get a win? He's got to keep Racer Brown behind. I don't think he can win the get the championship back, but all he can do is beat the Brown. But meanwhile, Skyjacker looking very strong for a win on the cards. He's getting purples every sector. Matt Psycho can't find the pace, but there is Matt Psycho also getting purples. And Racer Brown getting very close. You see, he was 1.8 seconds behind as they went across the line. And Racer Brown managing to claw some of that deficit back that he was behind Matt Psycho. This is a very, very tantalising race, and we've got a long, long way to go as they heavy break down into Musan. And we head towards Indianapolis, going through a Mulsanne King. Chasing, and there you can see Matt Psycho pulling it back out to 1.5 seconds. So the Porsche must lose it down the straights to the Toyota, but as soon as the braking and the hybrid fills back up in that Porsche, it's well away through the twistier parts. And here comes Racer Brown closing back in on Matt Psycho. This is 3rd place fighting 2nd place, and oh my lord, I can see Skyjacker just in front. What has happened to Skyjacker? He's only 7/10. He's lost 3 seconds to Matt Psycho. Mr. Psycho, he can taste that win. He can taste the lead. It's right there. And it's a question of if Mr. Skyjacker can pull himself back together. He obviously made a small mistake, and can he get his head back into the zone, or will he let that mistake niggle him? We will see. 2.4 seconds down on his best lap so far in this race. Matt Psycho just 6/10 behind, and he only has to cling with the Toyota for a couple of corners, and they'll be back on the straight, and he will really enjoy the toe off that Toyota, the Toyota toe is what he's. Oh no! Matt Psycho is now leading as Skyjacker goes down to 3rd place. Poor Skyjacker, obviously making a small mistake. In the final corner, he's trying to come back at Racer Brown up the inside and not lose too much. And there is Matt Psycho, the man, car 16. The livery for the Sick Children's Trust, a charity he holds very dear to himself and to the rest of us at the Virtual Racers Club. leading the way from Skyjacker. He grabs that second place back from Racer Brown, but it's very close. Racer Brown will be on the attack as he chases down Skyjacker. My word, this is going to be tantalizing. There he gets the toe. Does Racer Brown. Oh, I was trying to catch that as Racer Brown scoots on by. And going back to the front view, there you see in the toe, but this then gives Skyjacker the toe as they go into oh, I'm not naming the chicanes. I've got the names of them, but it's too dark in here. Let me turn the light on it. I closed the curtains because the sun batters me through the conservatory. So that first chicane is called La Arc chicane. And there you go, back on Mulsanne Straight, heading up to the Foundiera. So what? I've got a map with the names written on it. Clever me. So Matt Psycho is leading for. Oh, Racer Brown is. Yeah, we saw Racer Brown get ahead of Skyjacker. We assume Skyjacker is going to grab a toe and try and get that second spot back. Further down, Binko in fourth. He's 6.3 seconds behind these guys. He's pacing himself. His fuel isn't any different from the guys ahead of him. So I don't think he's saving anything or doing anything tactical. He's only 1.7 seconds ahead of Jim, and Pat is still following Jim around. He needs to be ahead of him though. Rivixter has got himself back ahead of the Daz, and Daz is only a second behind the Rivs, so we've got a little battle down here between car 51, Daz in the Porsche, against Rivs 84 in the Toyota. Race on, but it does look like the Toyota has a little extra on the Porsche today, but a Porsche is leading the race. Skyjacker back ahead of Racer Brown. Why did I cut away? Why oh why did I cut away? So Racer Brown down into third, Skyjacker back into second place. Matt Psycho trying to run away from the pair of them. And Binko, he's going to be defending from Jim very soon. Jim 325.952 his last time around, and Binko doing a 26.1, so it's only 2/10, but it does look like Jim is closing in on the Binks. Matt Psycho meanwhile maintaining that just under 2-second lead on Skyjacker. Skyjacker, we know he can go fast. He hasn't got the fastest lap in this race so far. That goes to Racer Brown. When did Racer Brown? On his last lap, he got the fastest lap of the race with a 324.7. I do wonder if they, because you've got an allocated button for things like the drag reduction system and the super boost in the super formulas. I don't know why they didn't let you do your own boost in these cars. I mean, I don't know if it's set up that the real things do that, but it's just I know that some people moan about the way it deploys. Like, I think, doesn't the Toyota just drop it all straight out of the corner where the Porsche sort of like spills it in? It should be something that would have been a cooler thing, just to give you the choice to have a button to deploy it as and when you want to. So the Rivs has gone in rather early, I must say. We're only 21 minutes into this race. His tyres look absolutely fine. He's got half a tank of fuel, so I don't know, but I know he has been suffering with his knees recently, and rather than quitting out, I think he has been asked to sit into the pits, and maybe he is retiring his car. We don't know. Matt Psycho got the fastest. Wow. He got the fastest lap on lap 6 with a 323.444. That is some crazy times, and he's still getting purples. Don't forget their fuel is dropping, and it doesn't look like the tyres are getting affected around here. But it doesn't look like we're doing any fuel saving at this point. Oh, I don't know though, 22 minutes with half a tank of fuel does equate to nearly 45 minutes, which is halfway in the race. Matt Psycho, he's definitely not going to one stop, I believe, with the way his fuel is, unless he's going to really slow down later on and save fuel. Skyjacker, he's roughly there for a one stop, as is a Racer Brown. Excuse me. I do have a mute button. I put my hand over my mouth thinking you can't hear that, but it doesn't work. Binko, he's looking around about ready for a one-stop race. Jim, he's a little under the halfway mark, so, touch and go with Jim. Pat, I think definitely one-stopping is Pat. He's maintaining them 26ers. 27s. It looks like Daz. He's going for a two-stopper, I think, there. And, well, it must be a two-stopper. All he's done is put brand new tyres on and filled back up. Very early pit stop from the Rivs. Curiouser and curiouser. Remember, they're allowed to use the soft compound, but only for one stint. And I believe they like to save it to close to the end with low fuel and to get a bit racy, make up some time. We have seen Skyjacker, though, putting it on early, make up a good amount of time, and end up leading one or two of the races, but then he has to fight against those soft tyres on his medians, and it's usually the softs prevail. At the moment, though, Matt Psycho, he's lengthened that lead out to 3 seconds here, and I tell you what, if Skyjacker's waiting for Mr. Psycho to make a mistake, he is going to be waiting till season 4, because Matt Psycho doesn't make mistakes around Le Mans. Oof, beautiful driving though. Look at the lines he is taking, but he is burning through his fuel. Absolutely. And Skyjacker now, I believe, easing back on that accelerator. He did his fastest his last time around at 324.2, but their cars are getting lighter. Racer Brown, no one's tyres seem to be of an issue whatsoever. Oof. Skyjacker worries me when he goes. I think he's just lifting. Binko, he's maintained that 6 seconds, 7 seconds behind those leaders. He doesn't have bad fuel wear. He's just done a 26.0. That's his best lap so far. Jim very close behind, 1.5 seconds. He was nearly 2 seconds behind earlier, and now he's drawn it back to 1.3 seconds. So the Audi is starting to look rather racy, but I believe the Audi, also thirsty, may have to come into the pits. Double occasions. Pat in 6th, just keeping an eye on Jim and his fuel tank, playing the clever game. I think he's going to strategy himself ahead of Jim, rather than fight him on the track, like the wise man. 7th for Daz. He's on a comeback. Look at that. He's just got his fastest lap of 326.7. Finding his feet. He is 10 seconds behind Pat, but Pat is in a fuel save mode at the moment. Although Pat did a 324.9. Look at the pace Pat has got. He's 3 seconds adrift of Jim, but a few more of those 324s and there'll be nothing Jim can do. The best Jim's done is a 25.9. So Pat with that speed. 5 seconds for Matt Psycho now. He really is starting to drop the hammer. It's Psycho time, and he knows he is going to have to do a pit stop more than the guys behind him, and he is absolutely rabbiting it. He's got to build a distance up. Don't forget, if you're watching and you're enjoying yourself, don't forget to hit that like. It really doesn't. Well, do you know what? I say it doesn't bother me, but I do click on the videos every now and then just to see what likes they've got, and then I just think, wow, that's measly, that's tight. How many people have watched it? And only 3 people liked it. That makes me sad. I'm starting to live my life through likes. It means if I'm going to have a good mood or not for that day. Honestly, I couldn't give a stuff. Hit like because YouTube like it. Don't hit like because I want you to. And subscribe if you don't want to miss me. But hey, I'm always here. You can find me if you don't subscribe. But again, it's another thing YouTube likes. So Matt Psycho is 5 seconds ahead of Mr. Skyjacker. And Skyjacker, he's playing the long game, remember, being very clever. He's drawn 3 seconds away from Racer Brown, who has burnt through the fuel more than Mr. Skyjacker. So at the moment, it looks like Skyjacker is in a fairly good position. I think a 1-stop might be quicker than a 2-stop. But Matt Psycho is out there to prove me wrong. Binko in 4th. He's starting to chip away those fast laps. He's getting blues every time I see him, but no purples. He knows and must be fully aware that Jim is closing in. And remember, we saw Pat doing a 24.9. Can he replicate that on this lap to close down on Jim even more? He's out wide there, but that's okay. Safe as houses. There's no dirt out there. It's this one. There you go. Beautiful. Well within the lines there for the number 4 car. Pat taking it through the final double chicane. And he's going to bag himself a lap time. Oh, it's not a 24. It's back in the 26s, a 26.2 from Pat, but Jim doing a 25.3. So it's seesawing between Jim and Pat, but Pat still 3 seconds. Little work to do there. Oh, Daz has dropped behind Pat even more. He has not pitted, so we assume he is now. I'm going to say assumed he had a bad lap, and the rivs, he pitted early, didn't he? This is where he's going to hope to get back ahead of Daz, but he's lost more time on Daz. Daz has got about a minute in hand on the rivs. Matt Psycho meanwhile 6.7 seconds, but he's got to pull that time out, because I think Skyjacker and Racer Brown are both only one stop in this race, and Matt Psycho, I believe, is gonna have to enter those pits at least twice today. He's banging those purples in though, just like the livery of his car. Daz is in the pits, so I don't think the rivs is gonna get ahead of him. He had about a minute to play with. That is a beautiful livery, that Alienware with the Logitech. I love the green and the black. So super work from Daz on that. Cracking stuff. Matt Psycho meanwhile carrying on, and we're saying what is a 2-stop. I mean, he's half hour into the race. Yes, I don't think he's going to drag this out, but I suppose he'll go as late as he can. And he's got another lap in it, a lap maybe 2 in that car. These guys, they're going to be hoping to go till about 45 minutes, and I would have thought Matt Psycho would have been thinking that any time now is around the time to make the stops, but we'll see. Daz obviously thought it was, and the rest of the guys, well, Jim, I believe, is going to have to double stop. He's got himself ahead of Binko. What's happened? Binko, we saw he was very close behind Binko. He did a 25.3 his last time around. Binko doing a 26.0. And I don't know, Binko looks like he's saving the car. Jim, he knows he has to pit, so he is pelting it, I assume. Maybe this is all part of Binko's plan. It's just to cruise it. And Pat also, he's trying not to burn that fuel. He's got a minute ahead of Daz. And Daz is 14 seconds ahead of the rivs. Daz puts on the soft tyres, so Daz means business in the middle. He's going to do some qualifying laps. And what do they lose in a pit stop? It is nearly a minute in a pit stop. So that's scary for the 2 stoppers, for Jim and Matt Psycho out there. 2 stopping. It's going to be a killer with a minute deficit. He's only 7 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Oh my word, oh my word, oh my gosh. Oh Lord. That means Mr. Psycho has got to do some legendary laps on his soft tyres. He's gone past the pit entrance to go around for lap 10. And he's 7.7 seconds ahead of Mr. Skyjacker. Mr. Skyjacker 2.1. He went fastest again. Sorry, I didn't mean to pull away there, Matt. You did a 3:23.107, and that deserves recognition. And Skyjacker then, oh, did Racer Brown go into the pits? No, he made a mistake. Oh my God, we had a bit of a coming together. Let me press that and that. We will have a look what happened here. Racer Brown. Oh, Racer Brown's gone into the pits and it's all gone wrong for him, I think. And what happens to Jim? Jim just goes around the chicane, everything looks okay. Oh, and I think Racer Brown getting put back on the track, and maybe a little bit of, I don't know, oh gosh. I don't know, got out of that, fool. So there's Jim in 6th behind Pat. What a shame. I don't know if Racer Brown went into the pits. It went wrong. Oh, and Racer Brown's around the wall. Things look like they're going wrong. Binko's having a real issue at the moment. Matt Psycho is leading by 7.9 seconds. Skyjacker in 2nd spot. Binko is up into 3rd. He's 12 seconds behind Skyjacker. Racer Brown, who we think entered the pits, maybe hit something, and then it's put him back on the... This put him as an outlap as well. Oh my God, I think this might be a glitch for him, that he might not... Sometimes it doesn't let you come back in again. Or no, I think that's if you reverse and go back on, but... How weird. Oh, and it's going all wrong for Binko. Pat now coming up. No, Pat has to defend from Jim. Flashman saying, it's the end of the world. It's shaking up in Le Soif. But Jim is on Pat now in the tow. He's pulled out to try and make a move, and Jim is up into 5th, but he's got to make hay because he needs to make an extra pit stop to Pat. Pat, less of the fuel, but he's grabbing a lovely tow, is Pat. This is helping out his fuel consumption. And all I can figure out is Racer Brown tried to go into the pits, he hit the wall, had a bit of a moment, and then the game reset him on the track, and it's saying he's on an outlap. But I've seen this happen before, where it's put you a lap down, so really just being in fourth, he's quite lucky. Because I think at Willow Springs once in a race, Skyjacker had something like that happen, and it put him back on pits and told him he was a lap behind. Now Binko is having real lag issues at the moment, but he is 2.5 seconds ahead of Racer Brown and 13.4 seconds behind Skyjacker. Skyjacker 8.1 seconds behind Matt Psycho with that one stop less. There is Matt Psycho. He's on fumes. He is on fumes. He's quite a way as well to get there. He might have to slow down a bit. I don't know. That fuel looks low to me. That fuel really does look low as he's heading towards. Well, we were just past the 30-minute mark. We're coming up to 34 minutes of the race run of 90 minutes. And Matt Psycho, he's got nothing in the fuel tank as he makes his way. There he goes. He's coming up to the pits now. So plenty of fuel. There was panic for no reason. I tell you though, when he comes in, when you see the percentage, it's going to be like 1%, 2%, if that, maybe 0%. Look at it. It's barely noticeable here as we look as he comes in. Should tell you the percentage of fuel at the end of his name. 1%. He's on the mediums. Is he going to put the softs on, or is he going to save that till his second stop? There is Skyjacker going through to take the lead. We've still a quarter of a tank of fuel, and those tyres look absolutely spliffing. So no issues for Skyjacker pitting just yet. Mr. Psycho still hasn't got to his box. There's Binko. We've lost. Oh, Binko's gone in as well. Has he? Yes, he has. And Racer Brown. No, Racer Brown stayed out. Oh, is it being naughty? No, he's got loads of fuel. I don't know what happened to Racer Brown then, but he stayed out, pushing for that one stop, and he's got the fuel possibly. He hasn't got as much as Skyjacker. Pat's got the most. He's moved up to third place now. Jim in the Audi, he's gone in. Matt Psycho's gone in. These are the two stoppers. 35 minutes into the race, all pitting. Daz, can he catch any of these guys up? I don't know. He's on those soft tyres, and he's done he's done an outlap. This is the lap. We've got to see. He's 1.5 seconds up on his own time, but they're all starting to trickle out. Matt Psycho is out, back on the track, 15 seconds behind Pat, and they've got to pit the same amount of time. So Pat, go on. Matt Psycho has got it all to do. He really has given himself an absolute mountain to climb here to take the win. Skyjacker sitting pretty with a quarter of a tank of fuel. 54 minutes remaining in the race. He's got Racer Brown 17.4 seconds behind him. Pat is a further 2.5 seconds behind Racer Brown, and Matt Psycho with one more pit stop to do, we believe, is in fourth. 14.9 seconds behind Pat. He's got a mountain. Binko, he's pitted. He's put the mediums back on, filled back up. So is E2 stopping? We thought he was going to one stop. His fuel looked like it was doing okay. And he's 23 seconds behind Matt Psycho in fourth, fifth. Sixth is Jim. Jim in a battle with Binko today. He's 2.3 seconds behind him in the Audi. He's got his tyres pre-warmed up as he pitted. Didn't he pit? No, he's pitted at the same time, sorry. So he's trying to warm those mediums up. Daz on those softs, banging out the laps. 25.3. He's 24 seconds ahead of the Rivs. The Rivs is still on the mediums. We saw him make that really early pit stop. He's going for a long run in the middle. Just get his head down and get those lap times in, Rivs. You did brilliant those first couple of laps. Where did that go? Bring it back. Summon the inner racer. And Skyjacker leads the way. Shall we sit on board for such a momentous occasion? Skyjacker making his way towards Porsche curves. Just a gentle lift down to fourth gear, flooring it. No, yeah, up to fifth, flooring it all the way through here. Big balls all the way through. Slight lift down to fourth. Coming up to this tight corner, is it down fourth, maybe third? No, he does it in fourth, back on the accelerator. We've got to watch out for the pit lane to brake for the first chicane down into second gear, I believe. There he goes, very late over the curb, over the second curb. A little thrust of accelerator back down again over the curb, around that last curb in second, flooring it to start lap 12. Getting a 3:24.7 on our way. What a great drive from Skyjacker so far. But Racer Brown, he's in the pits now. His fuel is low, and we are at the 38-minute mark. Pat then carries on with plenty of fuel on board. He did a 3:28 last time around, and Matt Psycho will move back ahead of Mr. Psycho. He's 25 seconds ahead of Binko. Where is Binko going to land as regards to Racer Brown? I think Bingo was ahead of Racer Brown after Racer Brown's issue on that one weird lap where he seemed to bounce around the pit lane and get put back on the track again. So we do expect Binko to move back ahead of Racer Brown, which plays into Matt Psycho's hands, but I just don't think it's enough points if Racer Brown falls further down. Pat in an absolutely epic place. He's lost 5 seconds to Mr. Psycho. Mr. Psycho back out there with a vengeance. He has to put those lap times in. He's gone for those racing soft tyres, and Racer Brown is out before Binko catches him up. Binko, 5 seconds, 4 and up, 4, 3, hang on, it'll level out in a minute. 3 seconds shy of Racer Brown on track as Racer Brown hits back out there. He's only short-filled it. He's only put 3/4 of a tank in, and he's gone for the racing mediums, so he's turned his 1-stop into a 2-stop. Hoo-wee. So Skyjacker, 21-second lead so far on Mr. Pat. Pat doing an absolutely astounding job in that Toyota, a Gulf livery Toyota, with a Martini helmet. That's from his WRX challenge car, I think. Pat, you didn't change your helmet over. What if you win, Pat? What if you win and you're in your WRX get-up? You didn't think about that. That's why your mum tells you to always put clean underwear on when you go out, because you never know if you're going to get caught short. Pat, damn you. You're going to be on a Martini helmet while you're driving a Gulf livery car. The sponsors are not happy. Rivixter back into the pits for his second stop. He doesn't like to use too much wear on those tyres. He likes to use every set he's got. So Skyjacker 22 seconds ahead of Pat at the moment. Pat doing a fine job. He's not losing too much time on Mr. Psycho. Mr. Psycho, he's on some qualifying laps at the moment, having to bang in those purples to try and get a chance at having a nibble at Skyjacker. In 4th place, Racer Brown. He's 24.5 seconds behind Matt Psycho, and I think he's racing for Pat today. I think it's Pat he's got to watch out for. Pat's only 1 stop in, and Racer Brown is 2 stopping, so Pat might be keeping Racer Brown off of the podium in the final round. Binko in 5th place. It's been a strange race. We thought he was keeping his pace low, I said, not slow, low, to save fuel for a 1 stop, but then he come in early. So he's blowing my mind. Is Mr. Binko out there at the moment? Jim, he's on fire in that Audi. He was up there and he's had a small mistake, but he's done nothing but great stuff since, racing hard, trying to grab some positions back. Jim knows he is in a battle with Pat, and oh my god, yes, Pat's doing really well. So that will be infuriating Jim further down the field, seeing Pat there in second, only 1 stopping against the guys all behind him that are 2 stopping. Two are stopping? What's that? Skyjacker, meanwhile, his fuel has gone into the red. We are at 42 minutes into this race, virtually halfway for that 1 stop. I always say Skyjacker does a 1 stop, but he goes halfway, does a 1 stop, and then he always decides to have another stop before the end. So we shall see what Car 99 will do, but this is looking very strong for a WIN. I do not want to curse anything as we go along, and Pat also, I think, looks good for a podium position, and I cannot lie. Come on, Pat, I am rooting for the man. He has had a great season in HPEC this season. He was a bit nervous with these big powerful aero cars, but he has held his head amongst the best during this 10 weeks. And that car has been smashing to watch. Matt Psycho in 3rd. He has always been a cut above the rest, and look at him, a 3:22.340. He keeps tumbling that lap time over and over, but he has to get full points out of this at the moment. Racer Brown, I think Racer Brown needs for Matt Psycho to have a chance in this championship. I really think Racer Brown needs a DNF or to finish right at the back, and there is no chance of that at the moment, because Racer Brown is 5 seconds. Well, Binko looks like he might be, no, he did a 3:27.4 that last time around. So Racer Brown, that was an outlap though, will be pulling away from the Binks. The Binks though, you can see it's Jim though, in it, 1.5 seconds behind Binko. Jim being fueled with that fight with Pat in the championship. They're both on 78 points, vying for their positions. And Jim in that Audi will be loving these straight lines. I'm sure it's got some power down the straights as the Audi. As he tries to close into within a second now, he'll be picking up the toe from Binko pretty soon. I think we can still hear the air from outside the car. But Jim trying to grab Binko's toe. Don't forget, Jim will be pitting again, but I think all these guys further down the field are going to pit again. Skyjacker, he's still not gone in. He's going to have to go in now at the end of this lap. 28 seconds ahead of Pat. He's had a little skim of the wall. He loves it. And I said he was going to not drop the monster sponsor because Rockstar was his lucky charm, but it seems nothing. It doesn't matter anymore. He doesn't need charms. He doesn't need liveries. The man is a winning machine in his own right, so he enters the pits. Is he going to slow down? Yes. And he gets through without pinging off the walls. Matt Psycho. Oh, Matt Psycho's caught Pat up. Oh, Pat. That's only just happened. What happened, Pat? Oh, no, it hasn't. So, God, Matt Psycho was nearly 10 seconds behind him, but Matt Psycho, with a 3:22.3 his last time around, he needs to get ahead of Skyjacker. And to tell you the truth, I didn't think he'd be able to, but it looks like he is going to retake the lead. But again, he's going to have to pit. Whereas I don't think Skyjacker, unless he short fields this and puts softs on and starts chasing after Matt, he needs to stay strong with his one stop. Matt's burning his softs up now. Pat out there in second place. He doesn't. His fuel is red, but he's still not looking like a pit stop. Oh yeah, he did a 3:33.3 in that last lap. That's where Mr. Oh no, Pat, keep it on the ground, man. Keep it grounded. Lovely stuff. Skyjacker comes out of the pits in that third spot. So Racer Brown. Oh, Racer Brown seems to have lost a lot of time on Skyjacker. Oh, there it is. He's 11 seconds, 12 seconds. But he's pulled away from Binko a little bit more, and Jim's drawn a little closer to Binko. Daz only 21 seconds behind this battle. Remember, he put the softs on for a super stint, and the revs are 2 stops down. He's put the softs on now to get some oomph and power down on track. But Matt Psycho back in the lead. Pat still yet to pit. His fuel is rather low. Skyjacker now done his one stop. He's put the mediums back on. So he's meaning for a one stop so far. I mean, it's not a rule that they have to use the softs. It's just the rules are they're only allowed to use softs once in the race. But they don't have to use them at all. It's not mandatory. So Skyjacker, it does look like he's going for that one stop. He's serious. He's filled right up with fuel. He's put the mediums back on. And he's not going to be wavered by Matt doing his super qualifying stint at the moment. And he is doing an astounding pace. He's got 4.5 seconds on the Pat. Pat some 15 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. So Skyjacker a net 19.5 seconds behind the leader, who has to pit again. So we will see. And Jim's managed to get himself ahead of the Binks, caught him up in the toe, and managed to get himself ahead in his Audi. Binko in 6th place so far. It's not working for him here in the Porsche. as Jim goes up into 5th place. His battle is with Pat, who still has not pitted. Is that Binko coming back in the tow as they head down to Musan? And no, it's too far back for Binko, and Jim keeps it steady as she goes through the corner and stays in 5th. Great stuff. Bunting in the chat saying evening all. Skyjacker saying so bloody hot. I bet it is. What, leading? He must have quickly typed that in his pit stop. Thought he'd have other things on his hands at the time rather than telling us how warm he is. But no. That was probably a chat to his engineer. He's probably saying the engine's too hot, the engine's too hot. I'm stressing out in the lead. I think something's gone wrong. So Matt Psycho, he has to wrap it. He has to get there's bigger distance ahead of the guys behind him as he can, as he has to pit again. There is Pat. It's got to come in. That fuel looks too light. So Pat, is he going to bounce off the walls? Is he going to come in? Nice, tidy, beautiful pit entry there from Pat. So Skyjacker will move back up into 2nd spot. 21 seconds behind Matt Psycho. Can Matt Psycho build a whole pit stop? Then Matt Psycho will be on nice, fresh, medium tyres versus Skyjacker's old tyres. This is going to be a finale that gladiators are worthy of. So Racer Brown moving up into 3rd place whilst Pat is in the pits. Jim is the one who wants to get ahead of Pat, and he will end up ahead of Pat. But how far ahead of Pat can he get? Because Jim will have to pit again, whereas Pat is only 1 stop in. Pat saying, you don't realise how disappointed I am in myself to have not changed my helmet. I know, Pat, that's why I brought it up. So Matt Psycho, you can't win it, Pat. That means, or it's just going to be disgraced. I'm going to point it out. Matt Psycho leading the way from Skyjacker, 22.3 seconds adrift from the leader, but a pit stop in hand. Racer Brown in 30 changed. It looks like he changed his strategy mid-race. He's gone to a 2-stop strategy, trying to hunt down Skyjacker, and I don't think it's going to work. He's 10 seconds adrift from Skyjacker. Lower fuel levels, definitely lower fuel levels, so you expect lower lap times, but maybe he should have put the softs on. That might have got him up there with Skyjacker, but he knows his strategies to Racer Brown, and I do not question his wisdom. Jim having an absolute blinder in that Audi. I believe he said beforehand he'd been a bit disappointed with himself in this championship, and I thought was nonsense because he's driven the most difficult car out there, apart from the Lomboy, which I might take out in season 4 just for the hits and giggles. I don't know, I'll test it. I really like the look of it though, and I missed someone took one out by accident, but it was way off the pace because it's meant to be god awful, but I haven't tried it. But I like the look of it. It's like the Batmobile. So Jim in 4th. Rivixter back in the pits for his 3rd visit. He's going for a record of pit stops. Binko then in 5th place, chasing down Jim for a 1.7, but it just doesn't look like the Porsche has the power of the Audi today. Pat in 6th after his pits. He's got to get out there. He's got to get his head down, get some lovely consistent lap times in now for the rest of this race. The last 38 minutes and 45 seconds that's remaining, and he wants to grab that podium, and it's there in his clutches. He's just got to get those lap times in, Pat. Full concentration, my friend. He's got Daz only 9 seconds behind him on those soft tyres, still pushing on, so Pat may feel a bit of pressure before Daz's pit stop, but he's just got to stay strong, and it is Jim that he is racing today. And Jim now doing a 3:25.2, so Jim is flourishing in the Audi at the moment at Le Saf for round 10 of the Virtual Racers Club HPEC Season 3. Matt Psycho then leading the way, the reigning champion, the outgoing champion, and he is nearly 24 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, but we believe has to make another stop before the end of this race. Skyjacker on a 1-stop strategy and looking very good indeed at the moment. He may though, he may be under quite a bit of pressure in the last part of this race from a certain psychotic Matt. Racer Brown in third. He's chipping away at Skyjacker. He's got a lighter car. Like I said, if he put the soft tyres on, I think he would have been really giving Skyjacker something to think about at this point in the race. But he has saved his soft tyres for that last stint, so I believe he's got plans. Come the end of the race, everyone's planning to win this race at the end. It's going to be cracking because there can only be one winner. And I believe all of them are hatching a plan for a win. And I think Pat's got an opportunity to get himself on the podium, but he's got to get some neat and tidy laps in. He's got to stay within that 325 to 327 range and not drop out of it. So no spins, no offs. And under this weather, the heat that these guys are driving in, and he's on a controller, remember, so sweaty thumb pads, sweaty thumbs means slippy sticks. But Pat must maintain a very consistent lap time, and I believe he could get a podium. I can't see why not, with Racer Brown, Jim and Binko all needing to make another stop. Who knows? Who knows? Matt Psycho at this point, he is 26.6 seconds ahead of Skyjacker. Skyjacker he's unflappable, okay? Let's just say that. He's not flapping about it. He's just driving his race. He's believing in his one stop. And like I said, he's still going to be under quite a bit of pressure come the end of this race. So I imagine he's clearing his mind at the moment, while he is not under pressure, just to try and keep his delta within a second of his best. Shall we say that? Hey, do that, Pat. Try and keep that delta, your sector times, within a second of your best time without pushing. So Matt Psycho then out there, he's purpling it every lap. This he's trying to push his delta to its breaking point. He needs to make ground up though. Wowee, does he? My lord, what do you lose in a pit stop? It's about 50 seconds. It's about 50 seconds. It really is about 50 seconds. It's 45 to 50 seconds in a pit stop here. And he's 26 seconds ahead of Skyjacker, who in theory shouldn't need to pit again. Oh my word, it's exciting. I'm getting excited. We've got 34 minutes to go yet, 35 minutes to go, and I'm getting all like, oh, Racer Brown's starting to put some lap times in. Racer Brown's trying to insert himself in for a win here, I believe. I think he's backed off. I think he saved some fuel. He's got those mediums out of the way. I think he's edging to make a pit stop similar to Matt Psycho, but he will be on the softs at the end of the race and charging. Although his hybrid doesn't seem to fill up as well in that. Oh, he's going in. Is he going in to put his softs on and now do his charge? Maybe, possibly. See? He's a strategist genius. And there goes Matt Psycho, getting purples again. See Rivixter driving around out the way. He's getting the blue flag and making sure he does not impede the leader. He's got 30 seconds now until Skyjacker comes across. And the Toyota. Jim up into third now that Racer Brown has pitted, but we know Jim must visit the pits again. Pat should move up. There is Racer Brown only just getting to his blocks. Come on, Patster. Come on. Come on, Pat. We're going to get a podium. He's up into fifth place now whilst Racer Brown fills some fuel up. And there's Daz on that soft run. He's got himself ahead of Racer Brown, but he will have to pit again. But still, what a drive from Daz. He was quite way back there. And on those soft tyres, he's got his head down, he's cracked on, and he's put himself back into contention. He's only 5 seconds behind Pat at this point. And Daz is having a drive. Matt Psycho, meanwhile, playing a quarter of a tank of fuel, 28.8 second lead on Skyjacker. Skyjacker, 3/4 of a tank of fuel. The mediums aren't even scuffed up yet. And he's driving in a lovely 325.5 bracket there. Lovely consistency from... Ooh, I thought Matt Psycho was making a mistake. He's still trying to push for those purples. He knows he's in trouble with this second pit stop. He knows he's got a lot of work to do, but he's 30. Excuse me. Wow. The tiger in me came out. So Matt Psycho, 30 seconds. If he can find another 15 seconds, that's going to put him on the bubble. And he'll have new mediums on, and Skyjacker will have old mediums on. So, oh, it's nerve-wracking stuff. And Racer Brown's gone in, I believe. He's come out in 7th. He's going to put those softs on. Jim there, quarter of a tank of fuel. His mediums are nice and sticky still. He's banging those laps in because he knows he's got a Pat to worry about. Binko, 10 seconds adrift of Jim. Remember, Jim was behind Binko. Binko, maybe he's trying to make this fuel last. He's going to try and go for an early stop. And try and get ahead of Jim through the pit stops doing Pat. He might have stole one off Pat. Pat's doing a 3:26.6 last time around. Binko's a 26.9. Pat, I'm afraid, mate, you might have to pick your pace up, because I think Binko is playing your game and stealing your position from him. Looking like he was doing a two-stopper. Oh, he's got to do a two-stopper. He's got half a tank of fuel left. There's no way he can draw that out. But at the moment, he's staying in the 27s and 26s, and we know he can go faster than that. So one wonders if he's trying to eke that fuel out for a little bit longer, knowing that Jim has to stop again. Oh my word, the calculations out there. Pat on the one stop, going on. Don't push, Pat. Oh, 3:26.6 is fantastic. Just do them every lap. You'll be fine. Daz then just ahead of Racer Brown on those softs, but his fuel is now in the red, and he will disappear out of Racer Brown's way. As Racer Brown, he's put the softs on, 3/4 of a tank of fuel, and this is it for Racer Brown. He has got to slam it. He's got to slam it every lap now, all the way, to try and grab a podium. And I think 3rd is probably the best he's going to get, and he's going to have to fight Pat for that. And maybe Binko, but Binko, oh, Skyjacker, he's gone in. Skyjacker has come into the pits. With 30 minutes to go, he's decided to go for the medium tyres. He's blowing my mind. He's blowing my mind. I thought he was on a one stop. I thought he was sitting pretty. He's decided to come into the pits. Obviously wants a soft set of tyres. Maybe worried about Racer Brown. Who knows? But Matt Psycho there, 50 seconds. He's got the pit stop he needs. Jimbo hasn't pitted yet. He's got a fair bit of fuel there. Daz has put the softs on. No, Daz is in to get rid of the softs, sorry. Binko moves up into 3rd. Pat in 4th. Racer Brown now getting ahead of Skyjacker, who's just coming out to the... TV went into sleep mode, and I binned it. Oh no. Oh, you've got to sort your sleep mode out on your TV. So Skyjacker having visual issues, so deciding to go into the pits and put some softs on. Oh, what an absolute shame. It was looking tantalising. Matt Psycho slamming it. Racer Brown down in 5th place. Binko, is he going to pit? Is he trying to save that fuel? 10 seconds he's got on Pat. Pat did a 27.7 last time around. Binko doing a 31.2. He must have made a mistake. And Racer Brown's only 2 seconds behind Pat. Oh no, Pat, that's your podium coming towards you. On soft tyres, I don't think there's anything Pat can do to fend off a soft tyred Toyota of Racer Brown. Oh, this is crazy stuff. I'm 3 seconds behind him. Poor Pat, he's got it all to do. He's got 2 Toyotas looking ferocious behind him on the soft tyres, whilst he's trying to stick to his one-stop strategy. Matt Psycho absolutely pulverising it out there with a 3:21.760, 50 seconds ahead of Jim, who will have to pit as well as Matt Psycho. Binko further down the road, looking like he's changed his strategy, even though he pitted early. He's trying to get that fuel to last. Pat's not getting any closer. Excuse me. But as soon as, if Racer Brown and Skyjacker get past Pat, Binko will be in trouble, because they will be on their way. And here comes Racer Brown closing up in the Gulf livery Toyota. Whoo-wee. So we're watching a Racer Brown in 5th place, half a second behind Pat, coming down the straight, grabbing that toe. He's got Skyjacker only 3 seconds behind him, so he can't mess around with Pat too much. He doesn't want to get involved. with Pat, or Skyjacker will be upon him. Racer Brown, he's having a look up the inside, but thought better of it. Pat's got the back end sliding and wiggling around all over the place. That's an invitation to Racer Brown, surely, to say, come on by. But Pat's still there in 4th place, keeping the car level and planted, whilst Racer Brown breathes his exhaust fumes, and Skyjacker draws a second closer to that battle. Pat holding Racer Brown off as best he can. Toyota v Toyota, and Pat at the moment got the higher ground with the position ahead, but Racer Brown will get a lovely tow. They both go wide out here. Racer Brown losing a lot of time. Jimbo is into the pit, so Pat gets back ahead of Jim. Binko still driving around slowly, making that fuel last, and he is making that fuel last. Matt Psycho's got a minute on his nearest competitor now. He's just done another 321.4, but his fuel tank is in the red, and he's got a long lap to do. Binko then, Pat still there in 3rd with 7/10 behind him, and oh my god, half a second behind Racer Brown is Skyjacker on the comeback. Oh my word, what's going on? So Pat is in 3rd, the podium that I promised him, but unfortunately it comes with a price, and there's a yellow flag out there from someone, I'm not sure who. I can't see, I daren't look, no one. Maybe it's Rivixter just getting out of the way. Oh, Pat's in trouble now. He's got Racer Brown right on his tail, and Pat's little bit he can do. The Toyota's got the tow. Pat trying to keep that inside line, and there goes Racer Brown up into 3rd. Pat slips in behind to grab the tow back before they get to the chicane. And Skyjacker is only half a second behind this battle. Pat clinging on, and now he's got Skyjacker getting ever closer behind, and Racer Brown now back in a podium position. If he was in one ever in this race, I'm not sure. Binko slipping up into 2nd spot with 25 minutes to go. Can he make that fuel last? Can he stay ahead of Racer Brown? Matt Psycho, he's got to make a way around. Is he having to lift right off because that fuel is pretty low, and he doesn't want to run out before he gets to the pit stops. He's coming up to near the end of the lap now. Binko in 2nd, Racer Brown in 3rd. Skyjacker's got past Pat. I've run out of replays. It won't let me do a replay, sorry. We've been going too long. So Skyjacker now ahead of Pat. I mean, they both are on the soft tyres. It was always difficult, but Pat, if you just stay in there, man, their tyres may go off. They put them on quite early, 30 minutes left of racing. I don't know how long those softs can go, and they're fighting them. Although Daz was on those softs. Oh, Pat making a small mistake there. Come on, Pat. You still got to finish ahead of Jim, and you're 16, 17 seconds ahead of Jim. And you and Jim, that's the battle. So Matt Psycho does make it to the pits. My word, look at that 1%. Binko making his way around. He's 7 seconds ahead of Racer Brown. Binko not winning a race, but getting on the podium nearly every round. Can he win this? Can he win this with this strategy? I can't see. He's too far behind. No, Matt Psycho's going to easily be out of the pits before Binko catches him. And Racer Brown is chomping the time out of Binko by nearly a second a sector. He's bringing Skyjacker along with him. We saw Skyjacker definitely had a pace advantage on Racer Brown earlier on at the beginning of this race. He even got past Racer Brown for the lead. So there goes Matt Psycho. He's back out. Look at that, all that doubt. He must be laughing at me. He must be absolutely chuckling his balls off at me, because I was so full of doubt that he could do this. And look at him, pitted back out in the lead of this race. No one to stand against him. Back on the medium tyres, 3/4 of a tank of fuel, and on he goes with 23.5 minutes left of racing. Easy peasy lemon squeezy for Mr. Psycho. Binko though, Binko, he's got to watch that fuel tank, watch his accelerator, and watch the time fall between him and Racer Brown. And Racer Brown's bringing his buddy Skyjacker along with him for the ride. So Binko has got to do some heavy old defending when they get there. Pat in a grand 5th. He's just got to get ahead of Jim. Jim on those soft tyres though. on the faster tyre than Pat. Pat did a 3:28.1 his last time around. He's half a second faster this lap. And Jim on those soft tyres in that very fast Audi could well catch Pat up before the end of this race. But Jim, he's got to put some quali laps in. Daz there in 7th, 28 seconds adrift of Jim. And the rivs making his way round. He's gone for the hard tyre. He's a very brave boy, because they've got no grip whatsoever. But he's giving it a go. Riv always gives something a go. Gives something different a go. He's hoping that the game suddenly gets good with tyres. I mean, his tyres, it's weird. You would think they'd design it so the hards would be, there would be a reason to use them, but there isn't. They never get any good, and they go off just like everything else after a certain amount of laps, but you don't gain any advantage having them. You may as well make 100 pit stops rather than try and go round with your hard tyres on. So Matt Psycho, 30-second lead from Binko. Binko, though, is 2.2 seconds from Racer Brown and his boy Skyjacker. They all want a podium. Binko is their prey. And Binko trying to make his fuel tank last. I do not think he's going to be able to put up a fight. I really don't. When these guys catch him up, 3:21.9 from Racer Brown last time around, very close to the fastest lap, held by Matt Psycho with a 3:21.473. And this is some cracking racing. Flashman in the chat, this could get tasty between Jim and Pat. Yes, Jim's got to he's got to start putting some quali laps in to catch Pat up. Pat on those mediums, Jim on the softs. And Flashman saying, go Jim. So, Racer Brown, oh, is only 4/10 ahead of Skyjacker, sitting on board with Skyjacker in 4th. The win looked like it was in his grasp. Now he's hoping for a podium. Hunting that Toyota ahead of him, giving it his all after 1 hour and 9 minutes of driving, and he is still having to push. Look at this, they're catching Binko after 1 hour and 10 minutes of driving, and 2nd, 3rd and 4th all find themselves on the same bit of track. There's Racer Brown. Binko trying to save that fuel. He's trying to save that fuel. Look, a quarter of a tank of fuel with 20 minutes to go. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. Racer Brown is in 3rd place. He's up his jacksie and he's looking to get past because he's got Skyjacker coming towards him, and there, oh, Racer Brown looking around the outside. He's gone back there, and I think Binko's got out of it. He's thought, no, too rich for my blood, thank you. I've got no fuel. And Skyjacker, I think there may have been confusion between Binko and Racer Brown, and Skyjacker manages to whip up the inside of Racer Brown, and Skyjacker now is in that 2nd place, and Racer Brown wants it back. He's right up his tailgate, come on. He's like his caravan. There you go. My word. It's brown pants time for Racer Brown and Skyjacker. Lots of trust going on here. And there goes Racer Brown, he's looking. Skyjacker giving him a flash of the inside, saying, if you dare, my friends. And Racer Brown declines the offer and stays behind in 3rd place as Skyjacker whips it back and forth through the chicane. Matt Psycho then 32.3 seconds lead of this race. Slam dunk for the Sick Children's Trust liveried Porsche. Then in 2nd place, or is it Skyjacker against Racer Brown? Binko trying to get to the end of this race. He's got 10 seconds on Pat with under a quarter of a tank of fuel. Pat needs to get a shifty on, and there Jim's pulled 3 seconds back on Pat, so it's not over and done with. Jim doing a 25.8 his last time around. Pat doing a 29.9. Pat's not getting the lap times down. He's half a second faster there. Binko's only 9 seconds ahead of Pat. If Pat can get those lap times down, Binko is staying in the 26s and 27s to try and bring that Porsche home with Pat in 5th, Jim trying to catch Pat up for that 78-point joint they have in the table. Daz in 7th, 30 seconds behind Jim, and the Rivs is there in 8th place. He's did a 3:24.2. Pace is not Rivs' problem. And Matt Psycho, 32-second lead from Skyjacker, who's really pulled away from Racer Brown now. And they have pulled away from the Binks. And the Binks just wants to stay now, I imagine, ahead of Pat. And Pat may be getting a sniff that there's a position ahead, maybe not getting the podium he wanted, but the next best thing is 4th. And you never know with a mistake up front with Racer Brown and a Skyjacker battling it out. There may still be a podium in the offering. Binko, he's gonna have to pit, is he not? We're getting down to 17 minutes. It's amazing he's made that fuel last how he has. And Matt Psycho, humdinger again from Mr. Psycho. I think we might be losing him from our Sunday night rosters, which is a real shame, because he is a showstopper. But he hasn't signed up to the Formula Juniors, the next big Sunday night tournament. So I believe we won't see the beautiful liveries of Matt Psycho after this evening. Maybe when HPEC comes back, he may return for another bite at that championship. But he's going out of season 3, the worthy former champion taking the win. Skyjacker in 2nd with Racer Brown, who looks very likely to be the new champion of HPEC. Come after any stewards and the drop scores. He's in a podium position. Oh my lord, what's happened? Binko did have to go in. Binko, it just wasn't going to work out for him. He's gone into the pits, he's put the soft tyres on, and he's put in some fuel, and he's 13 seconds behind Jim. So now Pat up into 4th place. So Pat up into 4th. Jim still clicking away at that time. He did a 3:24.2 last time around. He's pulled another second off of Pat. We've got 15 minutes to go. If he keeps pulling a second off of Pat. Pat did a 25.0 his last lap. That was a great lap from Pat, and he's faster again. I think he knows the threat that Jim holds. And Jim again, he's getting greens as he goes through the sectors. Matt Psycho, he can cruise on home. He's got this one in the bag. And there is Skyjacker. Skyjacker on those soft tyres. Can he do it? He did a 3:23.0 his last time around. Matt Psycho at the moment doing a 24.0. It's a second a lap. It's just too much. Too much to ask for from Skyjacker, but he's holding Racer Brown at bay with that 1.5 seconds. Now Pat's 14.7 seconds behind that battle. And I imagine he would love a Skyjacker and Racer Brown to get into it for the last 15 minutes to slow him down, to give him an opportunity to grab a podium in the final round of this. Jim also wanting to catch up with Pat to get them points, to get ahead of him in the championship. And we will see Binko in 6th place. He had a bold strategy move, but it just didn't work out for him in the end. But 10 out of 10 for effort, it has to be said. And there is a Matt Psycho going around with 14 minutes left of this race. And keeping that car going and under control is all he can do now. No heroics at this point. 3:22.7 though, still a fast lap time. So he's not giving up, or he's not easing off in any way whatsoever. Skyjacker, he's pulled a second out on Racer Brown, and Racer Brown's pulled another second away from Pat, and it's down to 10 seconds between Pat and Jim. Jim doing a 24.2. Every lap is his fastest lap. Pat doing a 25.0. Oh no, they're the same lap time, sorry. We'll see as Pat comes through this time around. the difference between their laps, but it was 12 seconds and now it's 10 seconds. I said Jim needed a second a lap. He's hitting his quota higher. He really is slamming them in. Pat crosses the line with a 26.0. So Pat's still staying within a second of his best, but Jim is on fire in that Audi, burning through a 24 again, fastest for him, a 24.0, and Pat might be in trouble come the end of the race. And Matt Psycho, oh wow, so Jim in 5th, then Binko in 6th place, Daz in 7th, and the Rivs there in 8th place. And wow, what can I say? A great drive from Matt Psycho. I thought he was going to be in trouble with his two-stop strategy against Skyjacker, but Skyjacker having to change his to a two-stop strategy through issues out of his control, and he fought it back, got himself ahead of Racer Brown for 2nd place. That might be his highest finish in the HPEC Season 3. Racer Brown on the podium again. Pat in 4th. It's still only 10 seconds between him and Jim, with 11.5 minutes to go. Ooh, it's going to be tight, but it seems that Pat is holding it at 10 seconds. It's all he needs to do. Remember, Pat is on the mediums, Jim is on the softs. It is dropping down to 9 now. As Jim comes down the straights, that Audi is formidable in a straight line. And the battle there, Racer Brown's dropped to 3 seconds behind Skyjacker. Skyjacker on an absolute push, but I think it's for the fastest lap and not for catching Matt Psycho, which I think is just out of his reach now with 10-11 minutes to go of this race. Binko 11.1 seconds behind Jim. He put the soft tyres on, he's done his outlap, he's one to watch. If he can get some really ridiculously fast lap times on the go with those soft tyres on, then Jim might be in slight trouble. But Jim's doing good lap times, he's nearly got it into the 23s himself. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it, that Matt Psycho's doing 21s. How is he doing 21s when these guys are in the 24s, and that seems like a regular a lap time? I mean, Racer Brown just touched the 21s with a 21.9. Skyjacker a 21.7. But I mean, Matt Psycho, he's 21.5. That's unbelievable stuff. So 10 minutes left of racing, and Matt Psycho looks like the win is in his hands. Skyjacker on a comeback has grabbed 2nd place from Racer Brown, who steadily pulled away from the one-stopping Pat, who is trying to protect that 4th place from Jim. As they have beef in the championship, they're drawn on points, 78 points, and this is the decider between the two of them, and so far, advantage Pat. But it looks like he's lost another second to Jim. He's done a 26.0. Jim coming across the line to post a 24.6. Oh my word. Jim's leaving it very last minute for this battle. Binko stays 11 seconds behind. What's he going to post? A 23.4. 23.4, that's very fast. But is it too late? Jim, he is a second faster than Jim with 8-9 minutes to left of racing. Oh my word. They've all got to be on it right at the end of this race. And Skyjacker 7.5 seconds ahead of Racer Brown. It looks like Racer Brown's soft tyres are letting him down. He's on a lighter fuel load to Skyjacker. He's lost a bit of time to Pat. He was 17 seconds ahead of Pat. Now it's down to 15 seconds. Don't know if Racer Brown has made a small mistake there. And it's down to 8 seconds between him and Jim. Oh, we've got just under 8.5. We've just got just over 8 minutes left of racing. My God, it took me 15 seconds to get 8.5 out. What is going on? Look, It's very hot. My t-shirt feels damp. That's horrible. It's not though. I touch it, it's dry. It just feels it. It feels sticky to my skin. 8 minutes left of racing, and Jim is on an absolute push to grab that position from Pat. Pat trying to drive steady, staying in those 26ers, staying consistent, hoping it's enough to stay ahead of the soft tyre clad Jim. Meanwhile, Binko is absolutely pounding those lap times in behind Jim and closing in on Jim. We may have a last lap battle between 4th, 5th and 6th in this race. And that Psycho just bringing her own now. Look, he's not going to be a hero. He's doing 22s, 23s. He's done his job for the day. He just has to bring that Porsche home. And what a fine job he has done all season long. Except for at Nürburgring, because he hurt his back. And there he goes, crosses the line with 3:23.4 with just under 7 minutes left of racing. Skyjacker, what a story he has, what a race he could have had. We will never know, but it was looking very juicy, very interesting. But in the end, second place, still good after the issues. He still managed to get himself ahead of Racer Brown twice in this race for that second spot. And he's pulled away from Racer Brown. Racer Brown, ooh, is his tyres gone off? He looks like, or is he worried about fuel? Because his lap times are dropping off, and Pat is getting ever closer to him. I don't think Pat's going to catch him in this next 6 minutes, unless Racer Brown has a tragedy. But Pat's doing the right thing. He's getting greens. He's crossing the line with a 24.6, his fastest of the race so far. That's his answer to Jim. Jim closing in, trying to put the pressure on Pat, and Pat on lap 25 after 1 hour and 24 minutes of racing answers Jim with a 3:24.653. 8.3 seconds behind is Jim at the moment. He did a 3:23.6 his last lap, but he needs Pat to slow down. He needs Pat to do some poor laps to get that 5th place, to get that 4th place. Binko 10 seconds. He's doing 23s. He's on pace with Jim. Them two matching each other. Daz in 7th. He's had a bit of a boring race really, as Daz. He's not really seen much action out there in his Alienware monster Porsche, and the rivs on his hard tyres, 343, 350, 359. There's no pace on those hard tyres, I'm afraid, rivs. Excuse me, oh dear, sorry, how relaxed am I? Flashman in the chat, you haven't endorsed any drinks, products tonight, mate. So no wonder you're sweating. Sweating. I swore earlier as well, but yeah, that's it. Oh, well, I better get me. I haven't got any in front of me, to tell you the truth. It was that much of a rush. I was literally still tidying glue, pencils, and such arty stuff off of the table at like 7:45, trying to get everything out of the way so I can start this. I hardly did any revision beforehand. My usual 3 hours of taking extensive notes on everyone's statistics. I didn't get to do any of that. I literally grabbed a tropical Red Bull out of the fridge and pleaded with my wife to make me a warm beverage. And I'm annoyed because I ran out of backy, so I can't even just go straight outside for a smoke after this. I have to either walk up to the co-op, which I've swore I would never walk in again because they are absolutely useless, or drive up to the BP garage just to get tobacco on a Sunday night at like nearly 10 o'clock at night, 9:30. So Matt Psycho crosses the line. What am I doing? I'm having a whinge, look at me. That's what happens after an hour and 26 minutes. So Matt Psycho, 27 seconds now. Skyjacker is starting to try and get that fastest lap. He's got purples. He wants the point, or whatever they get for the fastest lap. Can he do it? Is it there? Is it in his grasp? The Toyota's grasp. The Porsche has it today. But 319, 320, 321. Oh, no, that's 600ths off his time, not 600ths off the fastest lap time. Sorry. I got all excited then. I thought he was 600ths off the fastest lap time, but he's 600ths off of his fastest time. 12 seconds ahead. Oh my God, it's 5 seconds between Pat and Jim. Just under 3 minutes left of racing. Jim did a 23.6 his last time around. Pat did a 24.6. So they're both driving at the top of their game. And it's all about the table for these two. It really is a 28.4. Oh, you can see Jim in the background. 4 seconds. 24.0 for Jim. Oh my word. I'm having heart palpitations. 2 minutes. So this is the last lap. This has got to be the last lap for these pair. So this is when Jim has to do or die. 4 seconds. He needs Pat to make a bit of a hiccup, I believe. And it's not likely. Here comes... He's going through the second chicane at the moment, is Mr. Psycho. I don't think he's going to get to the line before the timer runs out. So this, I think, 26 laps is an hour and a half of Lasarth in the Group 1 cars. Skyjacker, he's 13.3 seconds ahead of Racer Brown. There's no fear of Racer Brown losing that podium. Pat in 4th. Flashman saying Jim, Jim, Jim. And it's 3.3 seconds, 3 seconds. He's a second down the straight. They go through the chicane. Oh my word, it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be so tight between the Toyota and the Audi come the end of the race. Jim going faster again than he has gone. And it's 3.3 seconds is the difference between them. Binko is a further 10 seconds back. He's done his fastest last lap with a 322.781. Daz is in 7th and Rivixter is in 8th. Matt Psycho leading. He's still some way. Excuse me, we've got a minute left. And he's some way off the finish line. Skyjacker and Racer Brown. This is the race. It's about Jim. It is about Jim and Pat. Sorry. So sat on board Jim, it's just under 3 seconds at the distance between him and Pat. He can see Pat there going through the tight corner. His heart must be in his mouth, as is Pat's. Pat's heart's probably a bit lower than his mouth. It's probably a lot further down. But Pat has the advantage, but he's on those medium tyres and it's down to 2.5 seconds. And I have to cut away. Oh, we've got 20 seconds left of racing, and it looks like Matt might get a lap all to himself. Unless he slows down. He's not slowing down, so it looks like Matt gets a whole lap to drive around. Because I think the time is going to run out before Skyjacker gets there. It has, so Skyjacker the first to finish. In second place, 32.2 seconds behind. Rivixter's crossed the line also for that 8th place. And here comes Skyjacker through the final chicanes to grab himself that second place. Congratulations. A quick look at Pat. It's 2 seconds between the two of them. Unbelievable there. They're coming up to near the end of the lap. Racer Brown's coming through the final chicane in 3rd and final podium position. Take a boo. What are you doing? Is he slowing down to let Pat have the podium? No way. So Pat's coming around in 4th place. No, Racer Brown's gone across. Take a boo, my son. And there is Pat. Pat's got the back end wiggling out. It's less than 2 seconds. And Pat grabs 4th. Jim is in 5th place. What a battle between them two. What a battle. RS Binko coming home in 6th place. And there he goes. His final round with the HPEC, and he's just having a burnout before he goes across the line in 6th spot. Daz bringing her home in 7th is Matt Psycho further back. So here comes Daz driving around into the final section of the track to grab that 7th spot. He was up there, he was battling. Something put him to the back, and I just don't think he could claw it back from back there. And there he goes through to get 7th place. Congratulations, Daz. Well done, mate. Good drive, man. Better than me, man. I'm going to give it a go next season and you'll see some shocking driving from me. So here he is, the reigning world champion, the outgoing world champion, the man in the purple car, Mr. Matt Psycho, going out with a bang, huge bang in the final round, taking the win. I think he's had a formidable drive. It looked like it was going to be a tough one with that two-stop strategy, but no, he didn't shake, he did not waver, he stuck to his guns, he put in the laps when he needed to put in the laps, and that car 16, the Porsche, which I don't believe was the fastest car here today, he has managed to quieten down all the naysayers, and I just wish he was taking part in my Red Bull Junior, because Racer Brown's taking part, and I think them two and Skyjacker would have been a great season to see them battle each other. But there he goes, Matt Psycho through the double chicane towards Glory Lane. Well done, Mr. Psycho. I'm gonna miss you on Sunday nights, man. My boy. So Matt Psycho takes the win. Wonderful stuff. Skyjacker in second, Racer Brown, Tickaboo in that final podium position. There you go. Look at that. Soak it in. The winner today of round 10, Le Soif, is Matt Psycho. I'll take you to our race results before Skyjacker has to rush off to watch Poldark. And there is how they finished. Matt Psycho finishing in first place, with Skyjacker in second, Racer Brown in third. Oh, no, apparently he has to rush off to watch The Crown tonight. So Skyjacker in second place, third place for Racer Brown. And I do believe, I mean, the official word will come out in a couple of days, but I think that is Racer Brown's championship. I think he is HPEC Season 3 champion, but like I said, it's all pending stewards and everything else. But unofficially champion, and in a couple of days he'll be officially crowned champion, I think. Pat finishing in a fine fourth. Is that Pat's best finish? I don't remember, but I believe that could have been Pat's best finish in the HPEC season. Jim in a fine sixth. He chased Pat down, he gave Pat a run for his money, and it was glorious for us to watch. Sixth place for Binko, seventh for Daz, eighth for Rivixter. And Matt Psycho got your fastest lap on lap 18 with a 3:21.473. Fantastic stuff. I'll go to the stream now just to see what you guys are saying. And here we go. Where did it go from? My God, I've missed loads. Skyjacker gutted. Win was defo on the cards. Maybe lol. Mama Syke said, proud of you, Matt. Well done. Nice one, Thingy. Thank you. Pat saying, God, that was hard. Flashman saying, man, that was a good final lap. Intense. Skyjacker saying, Le Soif never disappoints. Well, he said it right. He said Le Soif never disappoints. Flashman saying, great season all, well done. Binko says, thanks everyone who giving me hardest racing I've ever done. Thingy, thanks for laughs, and thanks Dad for watching my rookie season. Hey up Binko Dad, Daddy Binko. I didn't know you were out there. I would have given you a call out. Daddy Binko in the crowd watching on. Pat in the chat saying the problem with the one stop is the pressure to maintain a high pace. Squeaky bum time towards the end of that race, I imagine, with the Audi bearing down on you. Talaran saying amazing race, what a great way to finish. Pat saying equal best, got fourth at Nürburgring as well. Oh, sorry Pat. And Mr. Sykes, the winner, saying great racing this season, and he says he loves that track. Wow, what a wonderful way to spend your Sunday evening, watching these Groups 1 cars absolutely bash it around. Like I said, from now on Sunday evening racing. I think we're going to have a couple of Sunday Cups, and then we'll be into the Red Bull Junior X Championship. But unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be live streamed. They will be replayed on a Monday evening. It's a live stream on a Monday of a replay, so no change there. We've got the WRX Challenge on a Thursday evening to keep your eye out for. We have just done the qualifying for the 2.5 Nürburgring 24-hour race. So next Friday, we have an absolute, if you enjoyed these endurance races, we've got an absolute humdinger of an endurance race for you next Friday. So your week, next week, is looking like Thursday, WRX Challenge, round 8, and we've got a 3-way championship battle going on there between Cthulhu, Skyjacker and Homesick Alien. Then on Friday, we have got the Nürburgring 24-hour, 2.5-hour race, which is going to be absolutely sweltering and tough. And then that's it. Yeah, we've only got 2 live streams this week. Oh my god, I'm going to be bored. Thank you for joining me. Oh, more chat. Hang on, Binko. Oh, also, my throttle issues came back midway, so it buggered it for me. Lol. We did see you slow down and wonder. Matt says, at Sky, thought you had me. It looked close, Mr. Psycho. And Pat saying, thought I'd struggle in this series, in these cars, but I really enjoyed it. You held your head high, Pat. I think you did great. I'm worried about racing you next season when I'm in the HPEC. I think I'm going to struggle against a few of you out there. So I was your... And don't forget, any information you want, anything at all, check out our website, www.virtualracersclub.co.uk. Everything you need is there with all the latest tables, latest news, and a way to get into our Discord by joining our community. And then you can talk to all of us through the chat. And we have some fun chats, so join us there. I was just about to go, but some more people chatted. So Pat Flashman saying defo going to be in the top 8 for the 2.5 Nürburgring. Yes, Flashman, that's positive vibes. I like it in the Group 4s. Okie dokie. I was your broadcaster and your commentator, Jen Ittlewarts. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Down, down, down. Down, 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 down. Bam, bam, bam.